Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Really excited to be at Famous Music Studios today here in Los Angeles with an amazing up-and-coming artist who's just taking the world by storm. Her name is Jules, and welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be a part of your show.
Absolutely. You're so gracious to give us time, and I found out as we were talking just a little bit beforehand that you're from New York, I'm from New York. Talk to us about sort of growing up there or the time that you did spend.
So I grew up in Long Island, so a lot of times when I tell people I'm from New York, they think, oh, big city, no, I was in the suburbs. But yeah, I started doing music out there, made a lot of friends in bands and stuff like that. Sure. But it's kind of where I got my start, yeah.
Absolutely. What spoke to you for music kind of really being the way that you wanted to pursue a professional career and sort of be the voice through which you were heard?
So I started doing music around 9 years old, and it was when I first was in elementary school choir. And so I remember there was a solo in one of the songs, and I was like, I want this solo so bad. And so I would just go in my room and practice all day. I didn't get that solo that I wanted, but I did get a different solo. Okay. And then after that, it was just, I started teaching myself instruments. I taught myself piano, taught myself ukulele, and I was in bands throughout high school, and then, it just led me to here.
Sure. Now, what about that transition from New York to California? Because that's huge. Was that just the family was doing it, or you decided on your own, I got to be in California?
It was all me, yeah. Okay. I went out here by myself, and it was really just because there were so many opportunities for music out here, especially with pop music, and I was like, that's where I need to be, and so I just, I saved up as much as I could, and I just came out here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you hinted at it. How did you choose your genre, and how do you sort of pick your music and things like that?
So I started out very different from what I do now. I started out in like rock bands, and it was mainly just because it was what my friends were doing. But like through time, I had a really good producer in like 2018, and he kind of developed a sound for me that mixed with that like rock sound, but also was more of like the modern day sound. And so from there, it just kind of created my own sound, and I just found what I loved. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. What's something that you're hoping to communicate, or the message that you want to send through some of your music to others?
That's a great question. I think just being a confident woman, being a confident female, and a lot of my music is very empowering and just powerful. I don't know if I could curse on here, but that bad B sound. And so it's just, I think that's what I want to portray, especially to young women out there, that you really can make it as a female, because so many girls, they rely on having a male around, and you're like, oh, I always need a boy around, I always need somebody there, but really you could do it all yourself. You don't need a male, and I feel like that kind of defines my music. Yeah. Sure.
And doing some of that has also involved you basically taking TikTok by storm. Tell us sort of what gave you the insight to really use that as a vehicle and a platform to get your music out.
So it was during the pandemic in 2020. I was just scrolling on the For You page on TikTok, and I would see other artists going super, super viral for their original music, and then a couple months later they'd have a major record deal. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my ticket, I can do this. Being from Long Island, I didn't have those opportunities out in Long Island, besides posting on TikTok. So I studied the algorithm. I had so much free time during the pandemic that I would just spend days researching on YouTube, what is the TikTok algorithm, how does this and it was trial and error and just posting every day consistently. And then by 2022, in March, I hit 1 million followers, and then by November 2022, I hit 2 million, and now I'm at 2.6. Sure. So yeah, it definitely has increased really fast, but once you get into a rhythm and figure it out, it's just it keeps growing. It just has gotten bigger ever since. It's crazy.
Sure, absolutely. What do you enjoy most about music? Sort of, how does it act as your solace or your muse or your way of expressing yourself?
There's so much that I love about music. I feel for one, like it's like a form of self-expression. Like I can express myself and I can be myself and be vulnerable. And then like also too, it's just given me so many opportunities. All my friends like all do music, so if I didn't do music, I would have never had the opportunity to meet such amazing people and just be able to do what I love every day. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've talked about a lot of the positives. It's still a career that's also fraught with challenges. How do you confront those, and is there something you've sort of already feel like you've faced and somewhat surmounted?
There's definitely a lot of challenges. I think like one of them, being like when you have a big platform, a lot of people have a lot to say about you, whether it be good, whether it be bad. And sometimes like, people that you trust and you think are close to you, sometimes they don't have like the best intentions, and especially with having a platform, you have to be careful who you surround yourself with, because sometimes people have those bad intentions and they don't want the best for you. They want something more for themselves. So it's more so you have to stay grounded and just like understand that like you are your own person, but there's also like that business part of you that you have to face those challenges with the look of that is the business person. You can't like take it internally, like you have to separate the two. And I think that's what helped me the most with like receiving like hate comments, receiving like just crazy messages on the internet. I'm like, okay, but that's not, the Juliet that's inside here. That's Jules Walcott on TikTok and Instagram. That's not that's not really who I am. That's the person that I've crafted, the person I've worked to develop. So you have to detach yourself and that's really helped me like with those comments, because if I went on my Instagram and I read the comments today and I took it all in as myself, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I wouldn't be able to sleep. So yeah, you just have to learn to detach yourself, and then like all that positive stuff, take all the positive stuff in, but the negative stuff, that detach yourself from it.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really good advice and insightful for somebody so young. Why do you think people even waste their time to write and actually put a negative message on any type of a platform about somebody?
I think they're projecting. I think they're bored.
Right.
Usually it's like a reflection of them. Like, I don't know, a lot of people like to say crazy things, but I've also noticed it's always like the same type of people. You look on their page and they have nothing going on.
Right.
So I'm like, why am I sad? Like, it's not like Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, or like Ariana Grande's commenting on my post. Like, you don't see them hating on people's posts. So it's just usually somebody who doesn't have much going on in their life. Yeah.
Since you brought up such incredible names, who are some of the people who have inspired you?
I'm a super big fan of Billie Eilish. She's been an inspiration for me since I was young. I love the band Paramore, Tate McRae, Nessa Barrett, just some big pop female vocalists. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, all of whom are amazing.
Yeah.
Our show is called Music and Medicine, and when you hear those words together, what do they mean to you?
I'm thinking the first thing that comes to mind is like music therapy, and that was always something that I was interested in college. I never like went for that career, but that's like the first thing that comes to mind when I hear that. And then also too, like sometimes music can be like just healing in general, but yeah.
Absolutely. You've got some big things coming up, so tell us about New York Fashion Week and your planned release this year.
Yeah, I have a ton of stuff coming up. I have a new song release. It's called Crying in a Bentley, and it's just a really fun, like, powerful song with some super cool lyrics that I'm super excited about. So I have that song coming out with a music video, and then I have a meet and greet in Los Angeles this month. And then I'm going to New York Fashion Week, so I'm going to be performing at New York Fashion Week, as well as attending a bunch of like fashion shows, get some photo shoots coming up, just a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, yeah.
When you write, sometimes people ask, does the music come first, do the lyrics come first? What formula or what things have you noticed in terms of that development process?
I think it depends on the song, really. Sometimes I will have like an idea and be like, okay, I want to write about this topic, or I'll have like a lyric that I'm like, I want to write a song around this lyric, or sometimes the producer will be like, hey, I just created this sick beat and you would sound amazing on it. So it just really depends on the day, the vibe, and what everybody in the studio is going for.
Sure.
But yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think we're going to get to be able to see a little bit of behind the scenes, and can you tell us shamelessly where we can find you and all about you?
Yeah, so you guys can find me at Jules Walcott on all platforms. It's JULESWALCOTT. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all of them, yeah.
Absolutely. You're very young yourself, last question, and if you were to have a 9-year-old fan come to one of your concerts and she wants to be just like you, what are some words of encouragement you might give to her?
I would tell her to follow whatever dreams she wants, and she can achieve literally anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think those are words to live by.
Yeah.
You're so charming, so delightful. We thank you for sort of inviting us into your life and your musical process, and sharing some of the ways you develop your thoughts about it, and also shield yourself from some of the negative elements that exist out there. We wish that they didn't. I don't really fully understand why, but I think your idea of really being able to separate is really good advice for anybody that's coming up, to really not internalize and sort of see that is anything but basically somebody wasting their time. So
yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you.